Okay, so let me start out with a directory to hold my next application. So all of this. To blog, next, create, next app, at latest, / enter. And we'll give the next application a few minutes to set up. We'll go know the type script. Yes, 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 no. Yeah, there we go. Still going. Let's go ahead and start up our server. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this first. Let's go in and do a little bit of cleanup. And right here, we'll go overflow X hidden. And inside of here, we'll just take all of this out. We'll remove the class name from here as well. Just make sure that it's working. Go hello world. Now we'll go back to our terminal and we'll start up our application now. So I think I did blog. npm run dev. Let's see what we get. Shouldn't have any issues. Okay, localhost 3000. We'll just give it a minute. Alright, we got a hello world. Alright, so I think I'm gonna start out by formatting or cleaning up my layout right here with next. So let's go here and we'll go here as well, and then we'll remove this temporarily and we'll set up some main HTML tags right here and add the children back in. So we'll use, of course we're using Tailwind CSS to style, so I'm gonna make the margin auto, and I want to set the max width of the screen so that it only goes so far, and I think I'm going to set it to medium. Yeah, let's do medium. And we can test this out. Yep, we're good. Okay, so now I'm going to add in some components. And the first component is going to be a nav bar. We'll just remove this really quickly. And what we'll just do nav bar. I won't want to do too much for right this second. And let's go and add it to our layout so that it is throughout our application. And notice that I'm going to put it outside of the main HTML tag. That way it doesn't have the same max width as, well, I could. Yeah, I think I will. No, I'm gonna style this one a little differently. So I'm gonna keep it outside of the main tag, but I think I'm gonna do a border on the bottom. So I still want it to go to full page length. That way the border is throughout the entire page and not just the width of the main container. So we'll leave it as is. And gonna add one more component. Gonna be a footer, just to give it a little bit of styling. And we'll put this in a footer tag. We'll come back and style it later. And we'll just add it in. We'll add it outside. Yeah, we'll add it outside. And here we go. If we save it, we'll see we have our footer. So I think now what I want to do is work on styling the nav bar. And I'm not going to worry about making this nav bar have a responsive hamburger menu or anything. It's just going to be a simple nav bar that I have maybe the site name right here that'll redirect back to home, and some buttons here to either log in, register, or if you're logged in and register, you'll see create posts and then log out. And like I said, we'll have a simple border here. So I'll go ahead and work on that now. So inside of the header, let's go ahead and add some styling. Let's go with text black. And I want to give it a border on the bottom. Let's make the border gray and about 200. And let's give it some padding. Alright, so let's just take a look at what it looks like. Okay. Alright, and inside of it, you need a div to hold the home page. So we'll go import link from Next, and then the div that's holding the link will add some styling of container, flex, justify between. We'll make the item center, margin auto, max with screen, align center, ALIGN dash center. Okay. So right here, go link, and we'll go blog site. And inside of this link, we'll do, let's make it flex, font medium, center, text black, and let's do flex. I need to put an href in here. I know it's going to give me an error. So we'll do an href, and this will take us to the home route. And I tell you what, let's put this inside of a span so we can style it even more. So we can target it better. So we'll go inside of the span. We'll give this a class name. 3 Excel. And okay, I'm going to change that font, but this is what we want as far as the blog site on the left, and then on the right what we want is either login register or create post log out. And I think I may add an avatar with the profile picture if you have one set up, or maybe I'll ask that you do upload one and we can add one, but I won't worry about that today. This is just for the front end portion of it. So let's go ahead and do the links or buttons that'll be over here. So we'll put this in a div, and then we'll go a little bit of JSX JavaScript here. So we'll go user, mark, and I need to bring this in, and we'll set it to false. And what this is basically saying if the user is true, it's going to show one thing, else is false, and then it's going to show something else. So let me go ahead and type out this, and we'll give it a fragment, and inside of the fragment we'll have a link, and gonna need some styling here. So let's just bring this down, and here we'll do a href, and we'll let the href go back to slash, this will be the create, we'll do create post. So create dash post, and we haven't created this just yet, but we will in just a moment. And inside of the link, we're also going to add a class name. Let me just do create post here, just so I don't forget. And inside of it here, we'll do a class name, and we want to style the link. So we'll do inline flex, text black, item center. I can spell. Border 0. I tell you what, let me go ahead and clean that up now, because I know it's going to stay until I do. And right here, we'll do another fragment. There we go. Let's set it to true so we can see it first. All right, there we go. So we'll set it to true, and let's complete out this. So I have the border. I think I want to give it some heading. Y. That's 3. Give it a slight hover effect. Dash grade 200. Bit text, base, margin top. And on medium, let's just remove it because it can. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay. And let's see. I think I want to do space. There we go. And I think I want to get rid of this. Better. Now it's aligned better. Okay. So now let me create a link to log out. So I basically can just copy this, add in the link here, log out, and I'll just set this to empty for now. And there we have our login, log out. Open up our screen. I may bring these in closer, but we'll see. We will see, we will see. As a matter of fact, yeah, why don't I? Max screen. Auto dumbbells, margin auto. There we go. All right, there we go. Now it is, I still have my border, and it is set to the width or the max width of the rest of the window here. So now, since we have this set up, let's create the buttons that we'll see in the event the user is not logged in. So they should see login and register. So let's change this to false. And when the user is not logged in, I want them to see this. We'll make this register. And we'll send this to login. Okay. So now I think what I'm gonna do now is let's set up some of the, now that we have this here, let's set up the register and login page just to make sure that the routing is working as designed. So with Next 13, in order to set up the pages, what you'll need to do is you'll need to create a folder, and inside of that folder you'll need, well, first you need to create a folder and name it whatever you like the end point of your URL to be. So for instance, like if I want to have a register route, I'll have localhost 3000/register, and the folder that I would create would have the name of register. And inside of that, it'll just be a page.js indicating that this is the register page. So we'll put these pages, they go inside of our app directory, and we'll name the first folder register, and inside of it we'll have a page.js. And let's just do RFCE, change this to register. Okay, save it, refresh. Let's just make sure this works. And we see it changed here. And now we are at our register page. So let's make sure, well, not make sure, but let's just go ahead and set up our login as well. We'll add another folder inside of app and a file of page.js. And we'll change this to login. Refresh the screen. And if we click on login, we see that this changes, and now we are at the login route of our URL. Okay, so let's change the nav bar back to, let's change this user back to true. And what we should see, yep, create post and log out. So now let's create the create post page within the app. So we'll just go create dash post, and we'll add a file of page.js, and inside of it we'll just do RAFCE and make this create post. Yeah, not that though, but this. And let's just refresh our screen and click create post, and it takes us to the create post page. All right, now let's do this. Next, let's go ahead and I tell you what, let's go ahead and add in our let's go ahead and add in the posts that'll go in on the home screen. So here, what we want to do, the way we're going to set up our routing is we're going to have a component of posts that's going to render on this particular window. So let's go ahead and add in inside of our components directory a post.js, and inside of the post, let's do this to bring in the boilerplate code, and then we'll go back in our page.js and we will add in our post. We see it is imported. We'll save, and we'll go back to the home screen, and we see we have post here. And just to make sure, we see that it is set to the max width, or set to the max width of the container inside of our main container of the layout. And I'll add in the footer as well too in a moment, but it's not really a big concern just for right now. So let's go ahead and style the post, and this will be the post that will be displayed on our main home screen as it's pulling from, eventually we'll be pulling from our MongoDB database. So I think for this, I'm gonna keep it in a div, and let's do this. We'll add in a section, and this section will have a class name. There we go, class name, and we'll style it a little bit. Text gray 600, and right here we'll do another div, do a class name, and we'll do container 7. Just adding a little bit of padding. Okay. We see that it automatically gave it some space, and just to see what it looks like, you see it's a little bit of padding here and here. That's basically what I just added. And then we want to add another div. This div is going to be the wrapper for our post information. So we'll add in a class name, flex. We'll go flex wrap. Okay. And we'll add a div here. Okay, and now we're going to start to bring in the border for the actual size of the post itself. We want the post to take up the entire screen. So we want the header, the image, to take up the entire screen, I should say. So we'll do another div here. We'll do a class name, and we want the height to be full. We want a little border, and we're going to set that border to be gray. Make it light and consistent. Set a little opacity. And we'll let the overflow be hidden. Okay, now let's add in a image. I'll eventually change this out because we're going to upload our images to local storage. And for right now, I'm just going to do a URL just so that I can get a visual of what it looks like. But we'll change this out once we integrate our MongoDB database to this application. Object cover, and we want to put it in the center. Okay, that should be good. So now src, and we just need to get a photo. I think I'll just go to Pixel. Quick photo. What we got here? I don't know. Just need to grab something. Doesn't really matter. You know, this lady looks like she's enjoying life. Let's just grab her. So copy image URL. Image link, here we go. I'm saying, man, am I going blind? All right, so we'll add in the image here. We're gonna need an alt to care for everyone. Post image. Let's just save it. All right, so here's what we have so far. Feels a little off, but let me just make sure. This looks good. Yeah. Width, full height, center. Okay, seems to be okay. I'm gonna have to. Doesn't look quite wide enough, but that could be because of because it extends out to there, so it should be extended a little further. But I'm gonna go ahead and add in the rest of it, and then I'll come back to it to clean it up a little bit. So let's go to div, class name, give this one a little bit of padding. This div is gonna be for the category, and I think I'm gonna put the date there. So let's go another div that's gonna hold those, and we'll go class name, flex, justify between, line center, and then right here we'll add in h2 category. And inside the category, well, for the H2, let's go with small. Makes sense. Font we want to make medium. Text gray. 400. Little margin bottom. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. And now let's go with, we'll just double this to see what it looks like. Make this one date. All right, yep, that's what we want. And then now underneath that div, we'll add a H1. This particular H1 is going to be for our title. Not H2, H1. And we'll just call it post title. And right here inside the H1, we'll give it a class name of title font, text large, medium, text gray. We'll make this one darker, so we'll make it 900 with a margin bottom of 1. Should see it pop in here. Okay. Second row. Yep. And then underneath it, we will have a, you know what? Let's make this one, I don't like date. I think I'd rather have the user here. Yep, we'll do that. And then we will go, let's see. We will go, we'll put a date. We'll put the date underneath it. And the date, I don't want it to, yeah, I don't want it to look like that. So I think I'm gonna change this a little bit. I think we'll go with, yep, NXT. And title font, let's make this 400. That's okay. I may make that font a little smaller. It's a little heavier than I would prefer, but we'll keep it for now. And let's add in some description text. We'll just repeat this. It should do a little lower some, but or have something else typed out. But this is just to give us some styling. I'll actually add in some actual description text for the actual post itself. And let's style this a little bit. We'll give it this, give it leading, relax. And we'll give it a little margin bottom. What's that look like? That should work. And then I think next, I am going to add in a link. Whoa, I don't want that. Let's do this. See more. And we'll replace this, of course, with the actual post ID. so that it will route to the appropriate page or the appropriate post page. And we'll just import the link. And we have see more right here. And then I think down at the bottom, we'll add in a span. Style this a little bit. Text gray. So I think I want this to be an actual icon. Versus, you know what? Let's put this inside of a div so that we can give it a little bit of flex. So we'll create this div, give it a class name, and we'll name it flex. Yeah, helps flex. And item center, flex wrap. So we can wrap these around the container. Now, if we place these and we have that. Let's see what that looks like. Justify. Let's justify between. There we go. No, I don't like that. So I'm just gonna place this here for now. I'm gonna clean this up and put an icon here, and that will serve as the icon to like the post, and then it'll be a dynamic counter, and it'll continue to increase based on how many likes this post get. But I think for right now, this will work. Let's see what this looks like. If we add in more, let's just make sure it wraps appropriately. And yes, it does. Okay. All right. So let me see. Let's add in some icons. Add icons library. Here we go. Okay. So to add in icons, we'll just do import fill. Actually, if I do it like this, it should. Icons. Huh? Fill. Delete. I think that's it. The one I want is fill like. I think it is fill like. See what this does, because I think it will automatically pop in since I've already added it or installed the dependency for it. Let's see. And I feel like let's save, go back. What do we have? Import for like cannot find React icons. Okay. Yes. And let's install this again. Alright, we're done. So I'm just going to realize I probably didn't install it in the correct directory. I should have checked the package, but too late now. So we'll go ahead and minimize this. And let's see here. We'll go back. It still hadn't quite finished loading just yet. So there we go. All right, so there it is right there. And let's just add in a, tell you what, let's put this on a button. Put this on a button. There we go. All right, and now I should be able to work with this button a little bit. Let's see. Let's give it a little bit of width, a little height, and margin right, because I want to add, there we go. And now let's add right here. Let's add 1.5K. There we go. And it's not too bad. Let me change the size a little bit to 60. Let's go 18. That's a little better. Okay. I may decrease this a little bit and reduce the spacing here, but otherwise it is suffice for right now. Now that we have the post set up, I think the next thing I want to do is style the I want to remove this. Yeah, this is fine. So I think we'll remove that, and now we will style our login screen. So we'll change this to false, and well, register, I should say, excuse me. Go here, we'll close this, and now let's go to the register page.js. We'll remove this and replace it with a section. And I think, let me make sure, see what this looks like. Should be the same, but let me just make sure. Yep, the same. So I think for this window, just going to add in a simple form with the input, with 3 inputs: username, password, and email. So let's give this a little bit of padding. There we go. And let's kind of give it a little bit of a layout. Background white, flex, and we want to make this flex column to auto. And I want to make this smaller than the actual width of the layout itself. So let's see what it looks like. Test. So we see it is right here. Okay, and that is, yes, okay. Now let's go ahead and let's add in a register screen here. Header. And I probably should do the same thing on the main layout, but I'll come back and add that as well. Text gray 900. Let's make it centered. Let's make it large. Little margin bottom, font medium. Join us something fun. Okay. All right, that'll work. And then under it, let's add in a div, and this div will hold our form, the form that we'll use to submit the user information from the front end to our back end once we set up the Mongo connection. So this div will give it a little bit of styling, and we probably could have just made this the form itself now that I think about it, but no, we'll keep it as the div. So tell you what though, let's do this, because this will need to go inside of a form. Let's do the form. This div is going to hold the label and user, or the label and the input for each of the 3 categories, for the email, the username, and the password. So let's style the div first. Let's give it relative. The margin bottom of 4. This is just to give some space. We'll add in the label. It's a username. Space there. Add in a class name. Leading 7. Text small. Text gray 600. Okay. And underneath it, let's add a input. It's gonna be a pretty lifty style here, but we'll do input. We want to make it full. Background white. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, placeholder. What is this username? Let's save it, see what it looks like. Okay, so it is in the full. So I just need to style this because it looks hideous, as you just seen. So give it a background white, and we'll give it rounded for the border, and we want to make it gray. It comes default black. Focus. That border. Bear with me here. So type in some CSS. Fan of it. And we'll definitely copy and paste this so you don't have to watch me type this out. Transition colors. We'll make those. Well, no, that's right. It just, yep. Duration. This is for the ease in and out. 200. And let's make sure I didn't make any errors here. There we go. Much better. And I actually may not even need these labels. I may remove them. Let's see what it looks like. So we have the input. Let's grab this div. email, password. Yeah, I don't think I even need these. That label, this label. Yeah, let's take it out. Username. So that's the input. Username, email, password. And we'll do another button and just call it register. And then right here, of course, we need some styling on this. So we'll go class name, and we'll go text white, background gray, 500. Give it a little border, 0, some padding. Hover. We want to get a little darker. Yeah, probably 600. And let's go text large. Let's see, what does this look like? This will work. Or do I want it to go 100% across the screen? Yeah, this should work. Let's see, width full. Let's move this down a little bit. Not that much. Wow. I think this will work. And max width screen small. Yep. Okay. So for this will be the registration screen, if I could talk this evening. So now we'll just need to create the login window next, and we basically can just copy this exact same layout for our login page itself. And we'll remove this. And I think for the login, let me think. For the login, I just used the username and password for the login and not the email itself. So no, I have that backwards. I used the email and password, not the username. The username is just going to be on the screen for the post. So I will go ahead and remove the username and just keep the email and password. That's this first one here. Register, yep. And say join us, and this should say login. And we'll just come here, click on this. Yep, so it says login. And yep, and back home takes us here. Okay. All right, so I think I will pause for the rest of the evening and come back, and what we'll do is we'll finish up the rest of the front end. We'll need to create a create post page, a post detail page, excuse me, the edit post page, and that should round out our front end. And then from there, we'll create the back end in a totally separate video, all things Nextjs API. And then in the next video, we'll connect the back to the front. And then from there, we'll probably look at adding in a few additional functionalities on the page. But nevertheless, we'll just pause for this right now, and I'll be sure to include the GitHub in case you do want to follow along and use this for your design as well. Otherwise, I'll be back on either later this evening or first thing in the morning to finish out the post detail, the post edit, and the create post page. Till then, peace.